Warning to all parents. In today's world, protecting our children means being more vigilant than ever. What have I told you that hidden within the shelves of our public libraries are books that expose young, impressionable minds to graphic and inappropriate content, material that no child should ever see? This video is a stark reminder to all parents. You must be aware of what's being placed in front of your children. I will be showing specific examples of books found in libraries meant for young readers that cross a dangerous line into pornography, gender confusion, and more. These books promote harmful ideologies, sexually explicit content masquerading under the guise of education. Our libraries should be safe spaces nurturing a love of reading and learning, for some have allowed material that poses a threat to children's innocence. This is not a small issue, this is a crisis. So parents and guardians and all who care for the future of our youth, wake up, speak out and protect your children from this hidden danger. Parents, you need to be aware of a book called It's Perfectly Normal, aimed at children as young as 10 years old. Inside, it contains very intimate and detailed images that are far too explicit for kids. What's concerning is that the book is being labelled as educational, but the content is inappropriate and harmful for young minds. These are not the kind of images a child should be exposed to at such a vulnerable age. We must stay vigilant and make sure we know what's being placed in front of our children. Books like this are crossing the line, and it's up to us to protect their innocence. On to another page of It's Perfectly Normal. Teaching 10-year-olds that it's okay to masturbate. Trying to brainwash them into thinking even babies masturbate. Who thinks this is suitable for 10-year-olds? Because I as a mother certainly don't. And believe it or not, it gets worse. As we dive deeper into It's Perfectly Normal, it's clear that the book promotes more than just questionable content. It's subtly teaching our children to accept a worldview that devalues life itself. By normalising casual attitudes towards sexuality, it also leads into discussions around abortion without offering the full picture of the impact it has on families and individuals. Rather than promoting the sanctity of life and the importance of the nuclear family, this book presents a narrative where life is disposable and personal gratification comes before responsibility. It's encouraging our children to adopt a mindset where even the choice to end life is seen as just another option, detached from the gravity of its consequences. Parents, this is not the message we want our children to learn. We need to stand against books that undermine the value of life and family, and we must teach our kids that life at all stages matters. Today we're exposing another shocking book that's being promoted to children and teens in public libraries. This book is What's the Tea by Juno Dawson, a book that's packed with deeply inappropriate and explicit content targeted at young readers. What's the Tea goes beyond what should ever be presented to children, promoting harmful sexual behaviour. One section teaches children about anal sex and encourages them to douche, which is not only graphic but involves disgusting acts that should never be part of a child's education. It even goes as far as to recommend lubricants, an absolutely disgusting and dangerous idea for any child to be exposed to. As we continue to expose the content of What's the Tea by Juno Dawson, we find something truly disturbing. A section teaching children how to use sex toys. This is being promoted in a book aimed at young teens, but it's deeply inappropriate for such a young audience. Encouraging children to use sex toys and offering so-called safety tips does nothing but push them towards behaviour they are far too young to engage in or understand. This type of content sexualises children and opens the door to emotional harm, confusion and the loss of innocence. Next in What's the Tea, we find a chapter normalising dating apps for children. This book ignores the serious risks they face, such as exploitation, grooming and manipulation. Young teens are particularly vulnerable to the dangers lurking online, and books like this only serve to push them into situations they are not equipped to handle. Instead of teaching children proper values, morals and how to navigate the complexities of growing up, What's the Tea encourages dangerous behaviours that can have lasting effects. We need to guide our children in making safe, responsible choices, not expose them to platforms where they're at risk. Another controversial topic in What's the Tea by Juno Dawson is the discussion of bathroom use, where it promotes the idea that trans individuals should be allowed to use any bathroom they choose, including males entering female spaces. While this is framed as a fight against discrimination, it completely ignores the rights of women and their need for safe, private spaces. This book fails to acknowledge how allowing males to use female bathrooms and spaces can lead to discomfort and fear for women and girls. It's a violation of their rights, and What's the Tea dismisses these valid concerns in favour of promoting a one-sided view. Women and girls deserve the right to privacy and safety in their own spaces. Promoting policies that allow biological males into female bathrooms undercuts those rights and creates an environment where women are forced to give up their security for the sake of political correctness. As we've seen in What's the Tea by Juno Dawson, this book promotes disturbing and harmful content to children, ranging from inappropriate discussions on sex to the promotion of online dating, the use of puberty blockers, and even controversial views on bathroom access. It also contributes to the erasure of womanhood, dismissing the importance of women's rights and safe spaces. These are life-altering ideas being pushed onto young minds, and we need to protect our children from these dangers. Today we continue our mission to expose harmful content being promoted to children. The next book we're focusing on is Transmission by Alex Bertie, a woman who identifies as a man, promoting dangerous, irreversible medical interventions and inappropriate content to young readers. This book is marketed as a guide for transgender teens, but its message is deeply concerning. Transmission encourages vulnerable young people to pursue irreversible surgeries, such as top surgery and even genital mutilation, before they're old enough to fully understand the lifelong consequences. Instead of offering careful, thoughtful advice, Transmission promotes drastic measures like removing healthy breast tissue and undergoing genital surgeries. These are serious, life-changing decisions, and the book fails to explain the physical and emotional impacts these surgeries will have on young people for the rest of their lives. Medical professionals have warned about the dangers of performing these surgeries on young people, and many who have gone through them express deep regret. This book doesn't properly acknowledge these risks and instead encourages teens to rush into decisions that could have devastating consequences. As if it wasn't enough, Transmission promotes inappropriate content, including sexual relationships to young children. These messages are not just irresponsible, they are harmful. Children and teens still figuring out who they are should not be exposed to material that encourages them to engage in sexual activities at such a young age. Transmission by Alex Bertie promotes dangerous hormone treatments to young readers, encouraging irreversible decisions at an age when children and teens are still developing physically and emotionally. Hormones like estrogen and testosterone are highlighted in this book, have serious long-term effects including infertility, bone loss and cardiovascular problems. This book makes it sound like hormone treatments are simple solutions, but it fails to warn young readers about the severe risks involved. These life-changing medications can permanently alter the body and may lead to deep regret later on. Alex Bertie's Transmission is yet another example of dangerous material being promoted to children with no regard for the emotional and physical damage it can cause. Our libraries are supposed to be safe spaces for children to explore the world around them, not places where they're exposed to content that puts them at risk. It's time to stand up and protect our children from harmful content. Join us in raising awareness and demanding that books like Transmission be removed from children's sections. Share this video, speak to your local library and help us keep children safe. Together we can protect childhood. In our previous video, we uncovered some deeply disturbing content in children's books found on library shelves. Today we are continuing that journey with another book that needs to be exposed, Trans Teen Survival Guide. This book claims to be a guide for teenagers struggling with identity, but what it really does is encourage harmful and irreversible decisions. Trans Teen Survival Guide goes as far as instructing young, impressionable children on how to inject themselves with estrogen and testosterone substances that can permanently alter the body and their lives before they even understand the consequences. These pages walk children through the process of hormone injections. Let's be clear, this isn't just dangerous, it's deeply irresponsible. We're talking about children, some just teenagers, being encouraged to take drugs that will have lifelong effects without fully understanding what that means. Medical experts have warned that hormone treatments, especially administered at a young age, can lead to significant health risks. We're talking bone density issues, heart problems, infertility, and a whole host of other potential side effects that these young readers are not being warned about. Instead, they're just being led down the garden path that one day they may regret. In Trans Teen Survival Guide, there's a disturbing normalisation of dating apps, instructing young teens on how to use these platforms without addressing the serious dangers they pose. By presenting dating apps as a casual part of teenage life, the book fails to warn children about the very real threats of exploitation and grooming by paedophiles who frequently use these platforms to target minors. This kind of reckless guidance exposes vulnerable children to predators and dangerous interactions, putting them at risk without equipping them with the knowledge to protect themselves. Trans Teen Survival Guide also discusses major surgeries, such as breast augmentation, top surgery and phalloplasty, procedures that permanently alter the body. The book presents these surgeries as simple solutions to identity struggles without fully explaining the risks involved. These are serious medical interventions that come with long-term consequences, like scarring, chronic pain and irreversible changes that young people may not be emotionally or physically prepared for. The emotional and physical impacts of these surgeries can be profound, yet the book downplays these risks, giving young readers the impression that these procedures are easy, straightforward fixes. By promoting these surgeries to teens, the book encourages life-altering decisions that they may not fully understand, and these decisions can never be undone.
Hello everybody, we'd like to welcome you all into our home for a display of what we're just about to do. We've been working all across Ireland in libraries, shops, going in on the shelves. There's books like Transmission, Trans Teen Survival Guide,
What's the tea?
What's the Tea?
And that one.
I'm Perfectly Normal. Jackie, you were saying there's over 300 of these books in libraries on the shelves for children across Ireland.
Yeah, there's 313 of this, over 300 of this, over 300 of that, and over 200 of that in all the libraries across the country.
Yeah. So what we'd like you to do as well, in the link of this video, is a YouTube link for each book which explains what's in these books, the filth that they're pushing onto our children at a massive rate, you know. And I've said it in a lot of videos that children are dying, they're being harmed from these books. The suicide rate amongst the LGBT community is very high, and it goes unspoken.
And it goes up after transition.
Yeah, when people transition, they realise that they have mutilated themselves, and they feel like they can't have children anymore. They've ruined their whole life. They go into despair, and they unfortunately commit suicide.
And there's no going back from it.
There's no going back.
There's
no going back. So what we want to do right now is we're going to start off with the most filthiest book, okay?
Absolutely disgusting.
Okay, they're going in the fire.
Yeah.
Trans Teen Survival Guide. In the fire. Transmission. In the fire.
Let me do this one.
Yeah, you can have that
this
one.
Is my one. For age 10 and up, this is.
For age 10 years and up.
So this is going in.
Now, this is the best thing to do with these books. We've made videos about them, and we don't want any children, especially our own, picking up these books and reading them. So we feel this is the best thing to do with these books. And let me just say, every book I get my hand on, this is what I'm going to do with it. Make no mistake about it, our children come first. And the same goes with your hate speech bill. You can shove that where it belongs as well, because we won't be following any of it. We are Irish traditional Catholics, and we are going to stay that way and protect childhood.
And we're going to leave a link in the comments that they can check out what's in all these books.
That's what I said there a few minutes ago. I'll have a link for each video, for each book that we've just burnt, that you can look at to see the filth and pornographic material being given to children as young as 10 years of age in libraries, okay?
Promoting dating apps, adult dating apps and all for young kids.
Yeah.
Like they're putting them at such risk. It's sickening.
It really is. So from all of us here, we're ready. Brew!
Brew!
Juno! Kuna! Come here!
Brew!
Come on!
Say hello!
From all of us here, Erica Bra!